Good morning. This is Chad with Chiefs Chat with It, guys. It's been a while since I made a video, but I want to pick up on my videos here from here on out. We're in between the bye week here. The last game we played was against the Buffalo Bills. They won their regular season championship, and then the next week they got beat by Miami pretty good. My thoughts on the game are, I'm not saying they don't try to win, because they do. But I do think they go a little vanilla, and they're not going to tip their hat to show everything. But here's the difference between the last several years and this year. This year, they can't play games. They're 5-4. They are not even they're a bubble team right now, looking into the playoffs. They got to stack wins. They don't have room to do what they normally do, because they're usually 5-0 or 7-0, 8-0. They usually go undefeated until the 8th or 9th game, and then they lose a game. So this is uncharted territory with Mahomes. I mean, I've been here with the Chiefs before the Mahomes era in the 90s and the 2000s. They still have a chance to win a division, but the problem is they have to win this next game. I believe they have to sweep Denver to win, because you can't rely on people to beat up. You can't rely on these other teams, to lose, which would be nice. Then you would have to rely on them to get help by other teams beating them. Denver's schedule is pretty favorable for them on down the road versus us, because our next game is the Colts, and they're a real good team. So the Buffalo game, disappointed in. Didn't play our best. Every game we lost this year has been by one score. It's kind of reversed from last year, where we won all the one-score games. My feeling on this is, if we lose this coming week against Denver, we're not out of the playoffs. However, I think that it's like 10% chance that we win the West Division. I would like to win our division again, because I can't stand Denver or the Chargers. But however, if we just get in the playoffs, we still, if we get in the tournament, we still make some damage. We still have a chance to do what we need to do. But we got to flip the switch. What Chiefs will show up? What team will show up? They have all the talent in the world. They're just, the team cohesiveness is on and off. And this is the time of year right now where you got to flip the switch, and make it stay on the rest of the way. I believe they can afford one more loss, maybe. Maybe two at the most. But then you're pushing it. So one more loss just to make the playoffs. And that's no guarantee. But I think if they win here on out, they'll be in the playoffs. If not, then it'll be an early pack-up season. It'll be the first. And then you have to go back to the drawing board, and you don't waste any more Mahomes years. Remember, Tom Brady didn't, go to every Super Bowl. He didn't win every Super Bowl. Let's just not have the 10-year drought that he did. But I think that this is a tough year. You got a lot of good teams in the NFC. You got a lot of good teams in the AFC that could win the Super Bowl this year. That you could throw them in. You could throw their names into a jar and pick their names out that can win the Super Bowl. If whoever gets hot here at the end of the year is gonna do it. It's not like, oh, I know the Chiefs are gonna go and nobody can beat them. Buffalo just got, like I said, got beat by Miami and they beat us, and then any of these teams are good enough to beat. They're just really close. But I do know this for a fact. I know if Kansas City ever gets it together and plays their A game, they'll beat anybody. Even if the other team's playing their A game. Got to do something with that defensive line. I'm hoping they get one of these other defensive tackles. Who do you think they could get if they were to get them? I know Colin Saunders has been let go. Bring him back, and people say, well, why do you bring him back? Well, because there's really not that much to choose from, but you need somebody to come in and help relieve with these injuries. And then, Colin Saunders is a big dude. He can stop the run and stuff up that middle. So that's kind of what you need. So that's the big issue right now. Now let's talk about the Denver game. Denver game is very important that Mahomes, I think they need to go back to the short passing game and do some more running too. And here's why. Because Denver's, they got about 80 sacks, 90 sacks right around there. They lead the league in sacks. If they keep going at a rate, they'll beat the Bears, with the McMahon Bears and the refrigerator. Remember that team, the Bears? That was a fun team to watch. They can beat them. I'm hoping not. I'm hoping they kind of slow down. Again, it's not so much the teams that I can't stand. It's the fan base at times. But I'll give credit where credit due. Denver is kicking ass this year. And Mahomes, if he can get rid of that ball quickly, I notice he's fading back more, trying to take it down. Look, man, stay in the pocket and get rid of that thing quick. Go through your reads. And then early in the game, I would test them out, see if they have a spy on you, and run that, try to get some first downs with your legs. But to be honest with you, you need to do this short passing game. You got the speed, you got the playmakers. You get Worthy involved in the short game. When he came back, that really opened up the offense, and then you kind of went away from him because you got Rice back. Don't concentrate on Rice. If he's open, then get it to him. But get it to Worthy. Let him use his speed to open up everything. And Andy Reid needs to call a better game. He needs to call it where they are running it, at least 15 times, 17 times a game. And here's the biggest thing is he likes to do this rotation of running backs, which if you get a running back that's hot and he's cracking it 6-7 yards a pop, just let them keep carrying the ball. So he doesn't stick with that. So that's a problem. And don't be so predictable, because these teams that are beating you, like Buffalo, like they said, the cornerback said, by the way Worthy was moving around, they knew what they were going to do. Well, then change your tendencies, change it up a little bit, and don't be so predictable. If you're not predictable, if you show a lot of running and short passes, go back to that, they won't expect that. And then that will open up where you can throw it down the field later in the game. This game is a big game. It's a playoff game. For every game from here on out is a playoff game for the Chiefs if they want to make the postseason. I've already made up my mind. I'm not going to be upset if they don't make it this year. You know, they've won the division. You know, about 10 years in a row, 9 years in a row here. I have to go back and look again. See, that's how us Chiefs fans are. We've done it so long, we're just like, whatever. But looking back, be thankful for we got to see this. I don't care what anybody says. They can say the refs this, refs that. I can say that about other teams. I can say that. But I'm not trying to ruin the game and all that. But, like I said, I prepared for, if it doesn't happen, yeah, it's going to suck. But if one team can flip the switch, it is the Chiefs. They just need to start the game out where they're not just playing part of the game. They need to start the game out. This is a must win. If they lose, I think it's more about the division than the playoffs at this point. But then they really have to beat Indy and then go on a winning streak from there, and then beat Denver at home and beat the Chargers at home. So if they split with Denver, I think they make the playoffs as long as they win the rest of their games. I think that's 80% because you still have other teams like Jacksonville and Buffalo that beat you, so they have the tiebreak. That's the problem with this situation here, and the Chargers. So you got three teams. The good thing is if you play the Chargers again, right? So if you beat them, then that goes out the window, the tiebreaker. So I don't know how they would do that if you were tied with the Chargers. Division wins, I guess. So you really need... It would be close. You really need to at least split with everybody, but you need at least split with them to make the playoffs, and then sweep the Raiders and split with the Chargers. Wow, man, it's just if this, if that, So right now it's 50-50 that I think the Chiefs make the playoffs, and the reason I'm saying that is it's so too close to call right now. So I would say one game at a time. I think unless it depends on how the offense plays it. Like I said, get the playmakers your ball, get it out 2 or 3 seconds. Let your playmakers make the plays. Worry about getting first downs, taking time off the clock. The first 3 quarters, make sure Denver is the fourth quarter team supposedly this year. So in the first 3 quarters, kick that ass. You gotta take some of the points, but then, if you have a 4th and 1, you gotta make some of those too. So my prediction is I think KC wins by 4 points. I like to see more because even though they've lost, 4 games or whatever, or is it 5 games? The games they've lost, they only lost by 1 score, but the games they've won by double scores. So I'm hoping that trend continues, but I do think it's a competitive game. I think it's a close game. I think coming out of bye, we're always pretty decent. Our backs are against the wall. If we can win this game, it could shift the momentum of the way our team thinks, and then you got to watch out. I think we beat Denver. I think Denver is coached really well, so and they're more consistent than Buffalo, but Buffalo has, I think, a little bit better offense. So I think that our offense needs to open it up as far as that. So we'll see. Again, I think let's go Chiefs. Subscribe, like. I'm just thinking about the game. I'll be making another video later. Have a good day. Go Chiefs.